Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time of the day it is for you. This is The Den, episode number 8, our preseason coverage pregame Chicago Bears versus the Kansas City Chiefs. My name is Steve, aka Bronx, and I am joined by.
Here we go, guys. We made it. We are in the final destination. My prison cell, as Bronx so graciously put it. My ninth ring of hell, whatever you want to say. But this is where we're going to be. This is where we're going to be for most of the season. But more importantly, we have our final Bears preseason game versus the Kansas City Chiefs, so we can actually talk about game plans and whatnot moving forward. None of this like who's going to play BS. But yeah, we're back, baby.
Yeah, I'm excited for sort of the depth and sort of the um, stats and all that nonsense that we can look up and that we can provide you guys for regular season games, right? Because we know who's going to be on the field, we know who's going to get the snaps, we know who's starting opposite us. So that's going to be the most exciting for me, to actually being able to go over possible game plans and where we think the Bears should attack on offense, and sort of what the weaknesses are on the opposing offense that our defense can maybe exploit. So moving forward, I think it's just going to be, the podcasts are just going to get even better and better and better. But anyways, before all that, how was your day today, Matt?
Man, it's probably been my best one so far. Like this transition moving or whatever. I had all the stuff in here, little hiccups getting the setup together. Kind of didn't have a ton of room, but I was able to get it to all fit. So really happy with the setup. Excited to kind of just have this, new chapter, whatever's going on. But yeah, excited, man, to be back on the podcast. How was your day?
Oh, my day was busy. Taking kids to school. Well, the oldest one to school. The other two get the, well, my wife gets the benefit of, I wouldn't say benefit, but she's got to wake up the other two, pack lunches, get them in their uniforms, and walk them over to school. So bless her heart, because me in the mornings, I'm not a very morning person. So my mornings are usually yelling at them to try and get them out of bed. She's a little bit more gentle and, or gentler, whatever. Um,
More gentle.
More gentle. Yeah, when it comes to getting them up and ready to go. But yeah, busy day at work. I I I'd rather not elaborate, but anyways, moving on. We are going to start our very first segment of the day, our sort of our team interviews, overviews. Listen to me, I can't even talk anymore. Our team overviews. We're going to start out with our beloved Chicago Bears. According to Matt Eberflus, the majority of the starters will not play Thursday. Um, by majority, he sort of mentioned he has like an idea of a rep range uh, for the starters. So I don't know what that means. I know Caleb's not playing, so we would assume DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, maybe Rome doesn't play, but I could see Rome playing. I think he could benefit from a few more targets, because if he's on the field, he would basically turn into the number one. Um,
Yeah, no, my guess would be that they're going to more focus on like line. What he means that I think it's less about like we're for sure fire. Like we know Keenan Allen, DJ Moore, Caleb, and Swift are all
yeah.
for sure number ones. I think he means more so you might see players that might end up being there on opening day, excuse me,
Mhm.
that are kind of still fighting for that one versus two slot to see who's going to get it. That's what
Yeah.
I personally think.
In your opinion, do you think this is a good move? Like, should Caleb get a few more reps? He's only had a total of 43 snaps this preseason, and we're literally only 18. I mean, not only, we are 18 days away from opening up against Tennessee. Like, to
Which I will
me,
be. I will be there.
so
But
my sort of fear, yeah, the 8th, my sort of fear
yeah, I'll be there.
is he, will there be any rust, right? He won't have a live rep or a live snap for 18 days. I don't know. I mean, to me, the offense doesn't seem as polished as I'd like it to be, but he's a rookie. Like, he is a rookie, but at the same time, the hype sort of surrounding him, we want him to be better, right? We want
Mm.
him to be sort of like a notch above just a regular rookie coming into their first year as the NFL in the NFL. I don't know how you feel about it, but for me, I would say I would have liked to seen Caleb for one or two series, um, just to continue to gain confidence within the offense, gain confidence within the huddle, getting guys in the huddle, getting the play call off. Yes, he gets those reps in practice, but he doesn't have 30, 40, 50,000 people screaming in the stands,
Yeah.
right? So would I have liked to see that? Yes, but at the same time, like, to play a little bit of devil's advocate, those extra snaps, are they really worth risking injury for? Who's to
Yeah,
say?
you kind of covered all the bases. I was gonna say that it's like I don't think those extra snaps are needed. He's seen the field. He's seen that some of the passes he was able to make in college might not happen in the
Yeah.
NFL. We've seen that he is able to make passes in the NFL. We've seen he's able to read pressure, read a pocket. But only to rebuttal your point about the fans, I think first of all he's playing his first game at home, which definitely will help. Um, but you got to remember, man, some of these college football games are rowdy. I mean, they're rowdy and they're loud, and sure, it might be less people, but I think at some point it becomes arbitrary. Is
Um,
I get I do get what you're
but
saying, but you're making it
before
seem like a bigger jump than it is.
I know, but before you take that a step further, Lincoln Riley literally would hold up a hand, and that would be the play call. He was not getting in ear plays called to him in college. So he would literally look to the sideline, whatever Lincoln Riley had in his hand, or maybe a board, he would relay. He never actually had to hear
Mm,
plays in a headset. So, like,
Okay, but that's relative. That's something that we don't. I
I,
mean, I assume they've worked on it, but like you're saying that like at the NFL level that couldn't work. You're saying at the NFL level he couldn't look over and see Eberflus doing this or fucking this. You know what I mean?
you
So I get what
can't.
you're saying. I agree, but what I'm saying is I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
The answer is maybe. I don't know. I expect him to be a smart enough quarterback that if he can't hear the play call, he's either audibling or he's doing something. But I doubt that in terms of nerves the sound will play an issue. It could, but I find it highly unlikely. Yeah, but other than that, I truly don't think this game would be important because even if he does get in, like we kind of talked about a little bit last week, he's not going to be playing Kansas City's best guys at all
Right.
for even a singular snap.
Right.
So is it worth it to shit on some third, four stringers from Kansas City who aren't going to show their hand at all? Maybe. I mean, excuse me. The only really big issue that we were talking about with Caleb was his cadence,
Hmm.
and maybe yeah, I haven't really seen a huge issue with it, at
No.
least from watching the preseason game. So yeah, I don't know. Personally, I don't think he needs him.
But as we talk about starters, there are some starters that I personally want to see play in this game. Number one on that list, and we've mentioned this name numerous times, is Nate Davis. I really want to see him on the field. He's missed a lot of training camp. But then again, once again, to play devil's advocate, he's injury prone. Like, he's
Yeah.
hurt. He doesn't practice. He was basically non existent in training camp. So, would I throw him out there knowing Tevin Jenkins probably isn't playing, Coleman Shelton's probably not playing, you know, Darnell Wright's probably not playing? Does it really benefit him to throw him up on a line and have him be the only starter on the line playing? I mean, that's not really helping him gel with the guys that are next to him. But I still think he needs some live action. Like, he needs give him a series or two. Just because I feel like he needs to get punched in the mouth. You know what I mean? Not literally, but
Yeah.
I think he needs to feel that before the season starts. So that way, maybe he can knock off a little bit of rust from not being in training camp as much, so that we're not worried about him come week one.
Yeah.
Um, but the others that I sort of want to see are basically all on the other side of the ball. Jervon Dexter, I we've heard nothing but great things about his camp and how well he's played. But then again, when he is in there in the preseason, I don't really see him as a difference maker right now. Now, needless to say, that won't change coming into the regular season because uh, hopefully a switch is flipped and he starts to play to his potential, where he could potentially be a Pro Bowler, potentially be a double-digit sack guy, in the middle. But just another starter I want to see get a few more reps.
Mhm.
Another guy who's been injury prone throughout this camp, he finally came back to practice uh, this week, is Jaquan Brisker. I want to see him get some more reps. Same thing with Tyreek Stevenson. I mean, these aside from Jervon Dexter, the other three names I mentioned all have been injured during training camp, and I feel like the more reps that they get in this last game, the better. Um, but like with any preseason game, and especially being as close to the regular season as this one is, I'm torn because I really don't want to put them out there just for them to get hurt again. I mean, I don't know your thoughts about this, but there are also some others I just would like to see whoever the hell the pass rusher opposite of Sweat's going to be, whether that's Booker or whether that's Walker or whether that's a surprise in Daniel Hardy, who's been playing absolutely phenomenal this preseason. Um, I want to see them sort of get a lot of reps this week against Kansas City. I don't know if you have any other thoughts on maybe there's a starter I didn't mention that you would like to see play a little bit more, or
No, not particularly because it boils down to the fact that I think kind of the big ones that you were talking about that we want to see in Nate Davis and Brisker. I know you have any on. I said Dexter too. You know, for Davis and Brisker, I think it boils down to getting off the rust is more, in my opinion, training camp than it is the game.
mm,
Because I mean, you hear some of these guys talking in these interviews, they're ready, right? They understand that training camp is important, but they're ready to start playing legit games after the second
yeah,
week of training camp. So I think it is important to get the sweat off, or excuse me, the rust off. But I don't think it is imperative to, especially these guys that are coming back for their fourth, fifth year. Like Nate Davis, what is he, fifth year this year or something? He's a fifth year guy.
sixth,
Like exactly. Where it's a matter of, as long as they're getting that rust off in training camp and they're good to go. And I assume this is a talk that they have with Eberflus or their coaching staff. I'm really surprised if we maybe see him, but I don't think he's going to get as much playing time as you expect.
yeah,
I just think that especially these more veteran guys or the guys that have been in the league for a few years, if it was a rookie who's been hurt all training camp, okay, maybe I see that. But no, I I don't think they're going to play as much as you expect. But no, I didn't. I don't think you really missed any. I'm trying to think of starters. I mean, the only one I'd like to see maybe get another target or two is maybe Rome, but obviously they're never going to throw him
yeah,
out there. I highly doubt it, being their
yeah.
rookie wide receiver.
hmm So moving into our often injured Bears, just sort of our key injuries and a little and some roster changes going into the week. Karan Amagaji, our third round pick this year, has finally been activated. He's coming off of a quad injury that required surgery. So he was on like the physically unable to play list to start camp, but he's finally been activated. And for a line that has been in shambles and you don't really know what's going on, this is just another step in the right direction. That we have this kid finally stepping foot into training camp, finally getting his chance to 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 play, right, to get some reps in with the boys. Um, so yeah, I think that's a positive for our line, for our offensive line, and in a polls interview, he mentioned that he would like to see Karan play in his rookie year. That he doesn't see him as sort of this bench guy that's only going to come in when somebody gets hurt. So
Mhm.
I don't know where that means because he's from what I've read and what I've heard, he's actually a pretty versatile lineman. So it could be a tackle, it could be at guard. So we'll see. So I'm just excited to finally get him on the field, get a chance to. I doubt he plays this week just because he literally was just activated yesterday. Um,
Yeah,
so yeah, another one that was activated. I don't know if it was yesterday or the day before. Was Brisker. We talked about it earlier. But he has returned to practice, and for a while it was almost radio silent as to what his injury was and sort of what he was dealing with. Um, so it's good to see um, that piece of the defense where he belongs, ready to go. But then his safety mate, his safety next to him is now hurt for the first time ever in his career. Uh, Kevin Baird is hurt. Byard Baird. I like Baird. Baird sounds cool, but it's probably Byard. Um, he's hurt and he's dealing with a soft tissue issue. And there's literally they have not released a timeline. He's not been listed as like day to day or week to week or so. Who knows if he's even? Hopefully he's ready for opening week. But my fear is now he's a little bit deeper into his career when the body starts breaking down. Now that he's older, is it going to take him longer? Does this lead to more injuries? Right, literally, this is the first time he's missed any time. So, and it's I don't know what year he's in, probably 7 or 8. He's in his 30s. Um, so to see that this is starting or this has begun may be a troubling sign. I hope it's not because he's going to be a key piece. He's a veteran voice in that relatively young secondary, and he's only going to help Brisker and Stevenson uh, and Kyler Gordon, who's still only in his third year, um, uh, to basically help them to bring them along to be a veteran voice for them. I don't know if you have anything else you sort of want to talk about with any of those guys.
no, you kind of just went on a nice ramble there.
I'm yapping away.
I, res-
It's
I
a nice little
respect it.
yap fest. You want to talk about
I
Kansas
respect
City?
it. Well, not really. Kind of like you said, a quick one. The same thing that we fucking touched on last week, man. There is not a team in the league that has had more to lose in the last like decade, honestly, probably than the
Hmm.
Kansas City Chiefs. Maybe like the Patriots back in their dynasty run, but like
Hmm.
this team really has everything to lose. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Anything they show or any weakness that they put out there, if they throw out any starters, like anything that could hurt them, they're not going to do. They're not going to play their starters. They're going to play the most vanilla gameplay we've seen yet against our Chicago Bears defense. There's literally nothing to talk about. Their starters, it's confirmed their starters are not going to play. We're going to see a few of their two strings, I would say. Probably none of their two strings, especially in the revolving positions like their secondary or their running back. Anybody that would get good reps on a day or their secondary wide receivers, we're not going to see them, man. We're not.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't. There's really nothing to talk about from Kansas City. I think there's nothing to see. We're not going to see anything for them. I don't. There's really nothing more to touch on there, unless you have anything. Any thoughts?
No, I mean you hit the nail on the head. I don't think they're going to show anything important. The starters aren't playing, so I doubt Taylor Swift's in the stands. But yeah, I mean we'll see how our depth stacks with their depth because to me that's the key in a Super Bowl run is just how good your depth can be when the starters start dropping, right?
Mhm.
But continuing on sort of with our overview, uh, you know, where I want to dive into your thoughts on sort of what roster battles you think we should kind of focus on or kind of take a look at as we're watching this game. Because when I sort of watch preseason, I don't necessarily watch the game as a whole. I like to key into certain positions and see how they're doing, like the certain players and how they're playing, uh, com- compared to what I feel like a starter would play. I don't
Mhm.
know if that makes any sort of sense to you.
No, no,
But
yeah, no, I get what you're saying.
yeah, I feel like for this roster, um, it's going from 90 to 53 on August 27th, which reminds
Mhm.
me, be on the lookout for our podcast episode about we're going to do predictions on who we feel is going to make this
Mhm.
team. So that should be a
Yeah,
really fun
shorter one,
podcast.
but we'll
Right.
see. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. That's just sort of going to be our minds coming together to try and figure out who we think is going to make this roster. But we're going to more of that information will be made clear basically by who's in street clothes sitting on the sideline, right?
Yeah, 100%. Um, I mean, we could do a quick overview, I guess. I think wide receiver, it's simple. We're kind of just going to run through this really quick.
Mm.
Colin Johnson or Dante Pettis. One of them is going to be number 4, and whoever's not is on the street. Running back, Ian Wheeler or I think his name, Dallas Jones. I mean, I think them throwing him at running back for last week's game confirms to us that they're trying to put him there because they know he's not going to get reps at the wide receiver position. Um, Obviously, maybe they're looking at him for to be a 5 wide running back, or not a 5 wide running back, but you know what I mean. Like if they were going to go a 5 wide, maybe they throw him out there. I don't know. If like I'm saying, if he's ever going to get a spot as an actual receiver, that might be it. Um, yeah, I don't know. I really don't. Have any other thoughts on this? The punt returner, if
Who
Pettis is
is the
going,
punt returner? We still
I
don't
don't
know who
know.
the punt
Yeah, I
returner
don't
is.
know.
I mean, they've thrown out Velis. They've thrown out
I
Velis
would
there.
that would be
Dante
my
Pettis
guess.
out there.
I would say Velas because if
I
they're going
think
to put him at running back too, I think they're looking for something to do with him. But I personally, I think it might be Velas. I don't think Dante Pettis is going to make this team, man. I really don't. Unless they think he has a veteran leadership or a presence that is more important to this team than someone who has shown heart and can get him and grab those balls like Colin Johnson.
I
Pause.
see the problem with Colin Johnson is he's not played. He's been hurt. So I mean, aside from the first game, the Hall of Fame game, which really, in the grand scheme of things, doesn't mean as much as the other 3 games
Yeah,
we're gonna
preseason.
play.
Yeah.
I mean, we haven't seen him. Like he's been hurt the entire time. So I don't know if I think Dante Pettis might make this team, and simply for the fact that he can be a punt returner, even though we've seen him muff a punt. Velas Jones in the past has muffed quite a few punts, um, but I mean they went so far as to get Roma Dunze reps during training camp in the punt return
Yeah.
spot. The one who's been doing the majority during the preseason has been Josh Blackwell. So is he your punt returner? But then we also have DeAndre Carter, who was specifically brought here before the season started. Literally, I think a few days before training camp started, just to return kicks. So it's like, who the hell is our punt returner? I think that's a battle to sort of watch to see who they're actually going to throw out for that. And then in the DB room, like there's so many solid DBs. Like, is Josh Blackwell going to make the team? I mean, he's given him. He had such a great showing in the last game, and he's given himself more options, more ability, more opportunities to be on the field as a punt returner. Who's going to be the safeties? Are they going to keep 3, maybe 4 safeties? I mean, DB is going to be an interesting battle, and then the final battle we've sort of alluded on mostly throughout this whole damn
Yeah,
preseason is
preseason.
who the hell is going to be opposite Montez Sweat? Like I I think Hardy has a shot to make this team just because of how well he's played this preseason. But are they going to go the veteran route? A guy we haven't seen at all, who's still on the roster, Jacob Martin, who's a vet, a proven vet, has yet to even see the field. Do they just hit him with a thanks for your quick signing, even though he has X amount of money? I think he was one of the higher guarantees for the higher of the lower signings. I think he got like 1 million guaranteed. Are we going to cut him loose because we have that sort of money tied into him, or does he even start on? Maybe he starts on the injured reserve or something. I don't even know what's going on with Jacob Martin. So that sort of battle is one that I'm really interested in seeing. Um, but yeah, moving on, we have our PT Dubs, our players to watch. Uh, Matt, I don't know if you're ready. You want to start us off?
Yeah, I can start us off. So, for my offense, I'm gonna go Dante Pettis.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't keyed on him. I think I've done a lot of wide receivers. I think I did Colin Johnson and Felix Jones. I guess I kind of counted him as a running back.
Yeah.
Um, but I want to see him because kind of what we were talking. Colin Johnson's hurt. He's a veteran presence who's known to return kicks, and we know he's not going to be 1 through 3 for sure on the depth chart for wide receiver. So
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't be surprised if they definitely throw him out there for some reps. I do. I want to see him get those reps, and then um, for defense, man, I don't know. I'm kind of torn between a few people. I don't. Who did I say last week? Because I don't want to go again. I got to give his name. I can only give his name. The end, bro. The D end.
You
Um,
Dominique Robinson.
yes. I'm gonna double down. I'm gonna double down.
Oh, that's a good
I'm
one.
doubling
That's
down.
really
So
a
I
good
said I'm
one.
doubling down because once again we are looking for that left. I guess if you're looking from the QB's bracket, the opposite to Sweat, and I think he
Mm-hmm.
has potential. And Fluch has been talking about him all camp, man.
Mm-hmm.
And last week he didn't get it, and like we said, it was a really good team win. And sometimes a team win doesn't necessarily mean you're getting that sack. How many times do those guys get a look at the quarterback in a game? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
All that means that he was doing his job, which helped the defense. So I'm going to go double down on him because I know if he gets those opportunities again, he will get sacks. So I want to see him again. I'm going to double down for this one.
Doubling down. I like the move. I like the move. Um, for me personally, for me offensively, it's Tyler Scott. Right, he's sort of this guy who's being overshadowed by the big three. Right, I'm going to call him the big three. Um, Overshadowed by the big three. He's known as a speed threat. We saw him out there with the ones with Caleb last week, draw the pass interference penalty. He absolutely torched whoever was covering him. And the guy literally horse collared him and brought him down for the pass
Yeah,
interference, which 100% in my eyes would have been a touchdown pass from Caleb. But I want to see him get more reps, more time out there. um, but is he considered one of those majority starters? I don't know. I think he's sort of being overshadowed by the big three, by the performances of Colin Johnson, by the 2 touchdown receptions of Dante Pettis. Like, I haven't seen enough of Tyler Scott, and I want to. I think he's going to get a majority of the offensive reps, at least in the first couple of quarters. So I want to see him succeed because he could be an added deep threat to this offense, with his blazing speed. And then my defensive one is kind of been just a steady performer, who had a breakout game with Booker with the 2.5 sacks. He added another sack last week, but my boy Daniel Hardy, he's a practice squad player from last year who was on our practice squad. Um, so it's kind of cool. It would be cool to see him make this team, but he's got to continue. Right? We said consistency is key in this league. He needs to continue to be consistent and play well, especially in this preseason. Uh, I mean, he's been going up against a few of the ones. I know Cincinnati had their one offensive line, or yeah, one offensive line out there. Buffalo had their one offensive line out there, and he was performing there. So he should, like you said, he's fighting for that spot opposite of Sweat. And if he has another good showing, I don't know if he pushes Dominique Robinson off this roster or not, because I think he's another year in the practice squad, and with the option of obviously if Dominique's not performing to call him up.
yeah,
But I think that he makes this team just because of how well he's played, and those are my 2 players to watch: Tyler Scott and Daniel Hardy. All right, moving on. Episode number 3 of Hard Knocks was released on Tuesday. Um, this one was, in my opinion, a little bit better than the last few, because the last few have been a majority,
Yes,
majorly dominated
majority
by
Taylor.
Caleb Williams, right? He, not to say he took a backseat, because there was a lot of him. He just wasn't as much. Um, but once again, this is the third straight episode seeing Simone Biles. I mean, I guess she's our Taylor Swift. Um,
Maybe.
but Simone was on this episode for all of the wrong reasons. Social media went nuts. She actually saw a lot of the social media posts while she was on the field, sort of watching Jonathan warm up, and then he came over. But she was in a Green Bay Packers jacket. Now, it wasn't green and gold, it was just
It was like
black and white.
but it was like a fur jacket that just had green. Listen, bro, it's just simple. We can get over this really quick. It's probably something that he got for her or she got when he played on the team last year. It's that simple. Like, I mean,
No, I mean, I could care less, but
yeah, I don't give a
I
shit.
mean,
People were speaking about it though. I mean,
I mean,
it boils down to like when he was there. I mean, when he was at the Olympics, did he make sure he was wearing 100% USA stuff all the time? You know what I mean? Like, it's
I mean,
so
he
arbitrary
had a shirt
to
with
be fair.
Simone's picture on it. What do you mean?
But what I'm getting at is the fact that it's the dumbest shit I've ever heard, and
No,
it's not
yeah,
like she doesn't. It's not like she doesn't have a reason. It's not like he's never stepped foot in Green Bay and she's wearing the Packers thing. He literally played there
all
less than
right.
365 days ago.
While I understand that, this is our rival. Like, this is our rival. I'm just coming from a diehard standpoint, right? To me, it means absolutely nothing. I could give a shit about what she's wearing, but
What
the
from a diehard standpoint, you hope he goes home and beats her for wearing that, or what?
stop
Like,
it. No, no, I'm just
we're
saying, like,
we're PC on this podcast. We are PC on.
I cannot believe that either she must not have told him what she was wearing, but it's the middle of the summer and she's in a down jacket with
Facts.
with
Good point, actually.
with pictures. Right, I understand if it was just the pictures of him in like his jersey. That's fine. That's kind of cool. You wouldn't even kind of know because it was black and white. But it's the fact that she had giant Green Bay Packer logos on each one of her shoulders, and she's on the field hugging her bear, her husband, who's a bear. Like,
Yeah,
fans just went, their heads exploded. Like,
yeah.
nobody told her. Like, Simone, her friend does in the episodes. Like, I think you need to take that jacket off. But needless to say, Simone Biles makes her third straight appearance. This time for the wrong reasons. The last time, obviously, because she's the greatest female gymnast to ever uh, wear the red,
Break
white, and
your
blue.
thirst.
Yeah,
Probably in history,
yeah,
definitely.
yeah.
All nations.
Um, but also in the episode, they showed the joint practice and the rain, and how dominant the Bears defense was in the joint practice, and how good Caleb looked in the joint practice. But yeah, uh, uh, Tory Taylor, Tory Taylor, and Tyson Bagent were showcased on in the episode. You know, they give Tory Taylor's backstory, sort of how he grew up as an Australian rules football player, or
Best
Australian
fourth round
rules,
pick in Bears history.
and how he went to a program called Pro Kick Australia. Then he gets the scholarship to Iowa, and the rest is history. But Tyson, we get to see his dad. Man, his dad's a badass. His dad is a true badass. I mean, he's literally the
Agreed.
number one ranked professional arm wrestler with his left hand, and he's in the top 5 for his right hand. Like, I
Okay.
to
So I
be
was like, how
honest,
does that work? But it's right hand on right hand. Yeah. Okay.
yeah, it's right on right and left on left. So, like, that's, and like, you just see how pumped up and jacked he gets when Tyson's in the game, and he's on the sideline and he's like, "All right, I feel like I should start a new rule: no running backs, all throwing." and people are just going crazy when Beijing throws the touchdowns, and he's running like I don't know if he was in a suite. I don't even think he's in a suite. I just think he was like standing somewhere, but he was walking and pacing back and forth. Um, we see another rookie scene making his singing debut on the episode. Austin Reed killed it with his rendition of "Love" by Keisha Cole. Got a standing ovation. Got everybody nodding, everybody going crazy, making Caleb's first performance look like absolute dog
Yeah.
shit.
Well, Caleb didn't perform, so.
Well, he did. So that's the funny. In an interview, somebody was like, "Yeah, they booed him off the stage, but he got a second
Oh, but
chance."
he came back.
Yeah, he got a second chance, which they don't show on the show because obviously, like you said in the previous episode, they literally are trying to make the best show and to make him look
What
bad
fun
for
is
that
that? Yeah.
that specific um, scenario. But
Well,
anyways,
instance, yeah.
sort of my quote of the episode, like I did in last episode, my quote. Eberflus is sitting down and he's going over film with Caleb, and Caleb goes, or Flus goes, "What did you learn?" And Caleb Williams goes, "Practice is harder than the game." I thought that was a compliment to our Bears defense, and
Mhm.
B, just how important practice is.
You know, it's a real cliche, but as someone who's played on teams and is on teams now, it's a matter of like people be like, okay, practice is what, prepares you for the game. But when you really break it down into its finite components, practice is the game. Okay. The game is just doing what you have perfected in practice. You shouldn't be in any scenario in a game being like, what do I do here? You should
Mm-hmm.
just know because you have practiced it and you do it. And I've done that at a level that is far lower than the expectations of the NFL. And I understand that. So, these NFL players 100% understand that. And it's great to see that Caleb is acknowledging that fact because it's an important thing to keep in your mind while you're practicing. That it's like, I'm not, because, and you know it. You played sports. I played
Mm-hmm.
sports. Sometimes practices are boring, man. They suck. You don't want to be there. You don't want to do that. But that's the stuff that makes it so that the game is that much easier. So that when you're ready for the pitcher, right, you're getting ready, you're not scared to have the ball hit to you. Or you're not scared that if I get the ball, what do I do with it? Or you're not
Mm-hmm.
scared of the 3-2 count. What if he does an off speed away? It's like once you can piece together that practice is the game, it's not getting you ready for the game, it is the game, then we succeed. And it's nice to see that he's able to put that together, especially as a rookie in this league.
Yeah, baseball's our sport, and there's
I
no
couldn't come up
more.
with any football references, so I
There
guess
is there is no more boring practice than baseball practice, hands down.
we're 100%.
Um,
100%.
all right, sort of moving on, just to close out our episode. Matt, you got any random things you want to mention?
Today, man, today we did this like commencement stuff, which
Uh
was
huh.
which was kind of whatever. And then they were trying to get us to like go to the quad or whatever at our school here, and like do like square dancing or something, bro. I peel from the group. Listen, if you're listening and you are one of the orientation leaders, which I highly doubt it. One, I'm not sorry, and two, you'll never take me alive. But no,
uh,
man, no, not a lot of randomness today. A lot of
interesting,
structured stuff
interesting
for the
choice.
rest of the week.
Interesting choice. Like you'd think maybe like a cha-cha slide, electric slide,
Well,
Cupid
but it was
shuffle.
like
No, let's do
because
some square dancing.
like they were doing this stuff where it was like it was not mandatory, but they made it seem like it was. Like you're walking down the street and this group is at this corner and they want you to go this way towards the quad. And they'll be like, new students here. Like you try to go around them and they're just like, and I'm like, okay, you're gonna need to back up. So like I followed him. I followed him until we got to like a tree that cut to like another sidewalk going this way. So like they were going like this way and that way, and it was
Uh,
this way, but there was a grassy patch here that went to another walkway that when you got to this like T up here, it went that way. I literally just went like this across the thing. And I
Get
did like
me
a
out.
big loop around campus and made
Get
it back to the
oh my
building.
goodness.
They'll never take me alive.
Get get me out. Yeah, just sort of a shout out to my wife Rosie. at the time of airing this episode, it will be her birthday. Uh, so happy
Happy
birthday
birthday,
to my
Mrs.
beautiful,
Steve,
wonderful
Mrs. Bronx,
wife, to Mrs.
Mrs.
Bronx,
Bronx.
the mother that keeps this house together. So happy birthday to you. I don't know if we have anything planned. I didn't plan anything, so I'm sorry, but
I'll send you
you know,
5 gifted, but you better give her all that money.
we have football practices and kids going everywhere, so it may have to be just one of those nights where we order and watch a movie or something. So yeah, tomorrow watch a movie after the Bears game, of course. Sorry, Rosa, you're
Yeah.
getting roped in. We're not missing the game. But
Wait.
anything else? Anything else you got for us?
Nah, man, not much. No,
Next
I'm
episode's coming up.
excited to finally have legit things to talk about instead of who do we think, what
Yes.
sports stringer do we think is playing.
So yeah, I mean the last sort of few
Well, I
podcasts.
can't wait. I'll tell you what I can't wait for. Sit on that beanbag right there. Okay, and picture this. Picture this. Picture this. It's a freezing, chilly Sunday night. Okay, it's a chilly Sunday night. I have 2 papers due tomorrow morning. I don't care. I'm sports betting. Well,
No.
when I turn 21, of course, obviously. But I'm sports betting on the Chicago Bears to beat the Green Bay Packers. Okay, picture that, and let that carry you to September 8th. Bears opening day, Tennessee Titans.
that was a wonderful picture. Wonderful picture. Um but anyways, coming up, we got our post game podcast, which will be which will be out shortly after hopefully another Bears win. And then after that will be our sort of our predictions. And I don't know if we want to do an episode on predictions and or an episode on the final roster. We'll decide, and
Yeah,
you'll see.
we shall
We'll
see.
decide, and you'll see. It may be 2 episodes, maybe just
Maybe one.
one.
Yeah,
Uh, we'll sort of
maybe
figure that
maybe
out.
not even an episode, just a YouTube video. Honestly, we might just do a
Yeah,
YouTube
we could
video.
do something real quick. But anyways, if you're brand new here, please hit the subscribe button. Uh, Links for all the socials in the comments, in the descriptions.
Description. Yeah,
Episode number 8.
that's it, man. Thank you, Evan, for tuning in, staying with us. If you made it this far, comment gambling. Yes.
Gambling.
DraftKings, please sponsor us.